Funding for This Is Nashville comes from you, our listeners, and Music City Prep Clinic, Nashville-based provider for PrEP and offering comprehensive sexual health services in an environment designed to be safe, professional, and shame-free. Learn more at musiccityprep.org.
I'm Blake Farmer, and Esto es Nashville. Today, we are going back to one of our original slogans for this show, Our City, Our Stories. And these stories are all connected by Hispanic heritage. We begin on the side of the road, Antioch Pike. Drivers are sitting in traffic when out of nowhere, a guy with very loud glasses wearing an apron starts slinging free sweetbread through the windows to drivers.
Sí, verdad, bye-bye. Here you go, my friend. Bye-bye. Tenemos pan de muerto, tenemos aquí de ajonjolí y de azúcar. También lo tenemos de 3 leches. Acompáñame a regalar pan de muerto aquí afuera. Gracias. Amiga, un pancito. Hola, ¿cómo están? Hey, bye. Bye. La gente le encanta.
Somebody making friends on Antioch Pike there. That sweetbread slinger is our guest to open this hour in this segment. Juan Pablo, who's laughing over here on the mic, is the owner of Joss 15, a coffee shop where you can get the city's largest cup of coffee. And I thought this was a joke, but then I saw your Instagram feed. Juan Pablo, welcome to This Is Nashville.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Appreciate that.
Well, thank you for making my day yesterday when I was going in the rabbit hole of your Instagram feed. But a few coffee questions, and then I want to get into kind of your story. But what inspired you to start selling these gigantic cups of coffee and oversized conch? It almost looks like you're having coffee in the house of a giant or something.
It's great. I'm glad that you brought that up. But this idea, it comes because I want people to get together, and then sometimes you have no time in this life that we have. Sometimes you have no time to do it. So I just like to people enjoy a big cup of coffee with friends and talk about something. And I have to tell you, it's been really a hit.
Well,
people love
that. You essentially turn coffee into a communal thing rather than just being at Starbucks and like you take your coffee and you walk out.
Yes. Yes. Which is something that I feel that more people have to take away a little bit the cell phone and enjoy a conversation.
Well, so, how this practically works, you bring out this humongous cup. It's actually a mug. Did you have these specially made? It looks like a bowl that is a mug.
Let me tell you, it was a big experience to do it because we brought that from Mexico. It's handmade in Mexico.
These mugs?
So these mugs. And the first order that I have to do it just a tons of money.
Well, I'm sure.
I don't know that it was that expensive.
How many did you order?
I ordered only 34.
Well, that's still more than I would have thought.
And I spent a tons of money.
Yeah, I won't even make you say. I should have had you bring some, though, here to the studio for our YouTube audience. Just a reminder, we most of our shows these days, we're streaming live video from the studio on YouTube. It's at youtube.com/@WPLN. If you're there, say hello in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. So you wanted coffee to be more of this communal experience, but I wonder how much of Joss 15 is inspired by coffee shops and bakeries in Mexico where you grew up?
Oh, yes, a lot. A lot. It has a lot of heritage of Hispanic. I'm from Mexico. I'm from Veracruz, Mexico. Mm-hmm. And I love all the sweet bread. When you have surround people in sweet bread and coffee, everything change. Everything is great.
Everything is great.
Yes.
Joss 15. I was trying to figure out what the name could mean, and I think that I was wrong because I thought, Joss 15, or maybe it's a sort of 615 take, or your name is Juan with a J. What does the name mean?
My name that's my name with my partner name.
So J for Juan.
J for Juan.
And OS.
OS is Osmin.
Yes, your partner.
Yes.
Got you. And you all did this together, correct?
Yeah, we did this together, and let me tell you, this started a long time ago. It was like 6 years ago, and we started as a boutique.
Okay, what does that mean to you?
We started as a boutique, and then I just quickly realized that it's very hard as a man to sell things to a woman. that it was very hard for us to survive.
Wait, you're saying your shop was a boutique, as in you sold clothes?
Yes. I started as a boutique.
And nobody wanted to buy clothes from a man?
And it was hard.
Okay.
It was hard. I don't know that about it. So I started as a boutique because I love fashion.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I can do this. But I was really wrong, to be honest.
Wow.
And I quickly realized that we have to turn around if we want to be on business.
Yeah.
And I just changed. It was a boutique and candy shop.
Okay.
So the candy shop, it was a boom. But we never...
So you sell more candy than clothes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you said, well, let's just go food.
Yes. And then I always have this passion for coffee because where I come from is a coffee town.
Yeah.
So I always love coffee.
Yeah.
And I always want to work in this big giant coffee place in here, but I never have the chance to do it. So, but I don't have to. Now I have mine.
You have your own. Well,
Yes.
So when you were in Veracruz, are you saying Veracruz is a coffee town?
Veracruz is I'm from Córdoba, Veracruz.
Okay.
So Córdoba is a coffee town.
I see.
Yes.
And when you say coffee town, you don't mean that they grow coffee,
They
do
grow coffee,
They
yes. They grow coffee.
Okay.
And they sell many things with coffee. You can find ice cream with coffee. You can find beverage from coffee. You can
see.
have candy coffee. You can have whatever you can think is coffee.
I gotcha.
Yes.
Were you old enough to drink coffee when you left Veracruz?
Yes, I was 18.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you'd had a little coffee anyway.
Yes.
All right. So when you first arrived in Tennessee, I believe it was in the 1990s, right?
Yes, it was in 1998.
So what was that journey? Because you ended up in Shelbyville first, not here in Nashville.
Yeah. My mom ended up in Shelbyville. I don't know why. But I know that she was working in Tyson a long time ago.
So your mother moved up here before you came.
Yes,
So does that
before I
mean you
came.
kind of finished school in Veracruz?
Yes,
and,
yes,
And then
yes.
moved up. So you never went to school in Tennessee?
In Tennessee,
You were
no.
done
I never
already.
went to school, no.
And so what was Shelbyville like back then?
Shelbyville, it was hard because Shelbyville is very little town.
Yeah.
And it's not much to do.
Yeah.
I have to say it's a little bit boring.
Well, it's just a slower pace.
Yes, it's slow pace. So I was there for a little bit, and I say, Mama, I just can't do this. I have to move to Nashville to bigger and better.
Well, what was... So I think your mother had moved to work for the Tyson chicken plant there,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I mean, maybe worked a whole career there.
And she works for a little bit town, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what was Shelbyville like in the 90s for an immigrant from Mexico,
That's interesting because it was full of Hispanic people.
Right.
Yeah. And now I like to say that there's one of the most Hispanic town in Tennessee.
Well, I was looking up the demographics, and by percentage, Bedford County, where Shelbyville is, a bigger Latino community than Nashville, which
Yes.
is surprising to me.
Yes.
So does that mean that even in the late 90s, already there were some businesses that were run by immigrants, that kind of thing?
Not a lot.
I see.
Not a lot. I remember that we was coming to La Hacienda in Nollasville Pike.
Oh, so you were having to come all the way to Nashville?
Yeah, all the way to Nashville to bring some stuff from Mexico because
I
it
see.
was back in the days it was nothing.
Yeah.
Now it's everything there, but
Right.
back in the days it was nothing.
If you're just joining us, I'm Blake Farmer. Esto es Nashville. We've got 3 guests today sharing their stories, all tied together by Hispanic heritage. And we're with Juan Pablo, owner of Joss 15, home of the largest cup of coffee in Nashville. Actually, in fact, is it the largest? I haven't seen one bigger. If you see a picture of this thing, you're going to have a hard time believing there's a bigger one. And who would buy these expensive mugs to keep a gallon of coffee in? I don't know. But, in your marketing, a lot of it is in Spanish. And I even saw I think you were hiring a clerk recently, or maybe you still are, and it was like bilingual required, which makes sense. But how much of your clientele is Spanish speaking?
It is, I think it's maybe 60%.
Really? Okay.
But I do have to say the American people love the coffee shop.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of clientele that is American, and they love the coffee shop, and they love to be there, and they just go there and stay there, and they are really good friends of the coffee shop.
Well, so you talked about trying to start a boutique and moving your way into candy, and then realizing that coffee was really the thing. But I wonder how you decided to go into starting a business of your own in the first place rather than, just getting a job like the rest of us?
I think it's really interesting, but I was going through my 40s.
Okay.
And I feel that I have to do something different. I just don't like to be in a job that people just say what to do.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why I have this thing in my mind that I always want to do something that is us beside to just follow instruction, And eventually I did. And this is a funny thing because I worked for someone for 10 years, and I did what I do now in our coffee shop is what I did for him for 10 years.
Really?
So for me, it was kind of easy to do it.
I see.
Yes.
What were you doing then? Working in some sort of...
Yes, I was managing stores.
I see.
And I was growing the store, making successful, making nicer, bigger, cleaner, decorating and everything. And he was like that kind of person who was selling the store afterwards. And he was giving me a really good money for, but I was the one who put everything up and able to be good for selling.
You felt like you were doing the real work that was valuable, and someone else was maybe making
more money
off of it.
Yes, but eventually, I was not ready in that time.
Yeah,
and I think everything happened for a reason, and I'm very happy where I am now.
Yeah. Well, I wonder. Talk to me about how you've seen Middle Tennessee change over this, nearly 30 years that you've been here. Like for instance, have you seen Middle Tennessee become more welcoming to folks like you or less?
I feel different. I feel more welcoming.
Yeah.
I'll give you one example. Long time ago, you was going to everywhere and nobody speak Spanish, not a legal Spanish. You're going to Opry Mall, it was no Spanish speakers. You going to a store or a restaurant, it was not a Spanish speaker. And now I feel happy that these kids, they grow up in Tennessee. Now they are able to speak Spanish and English, and they say, "Oh, yo hablo español." And I say, "Oh, thank you," And I appreciate that.
But you're saying somebody who is probably not from a Spanish-speaking country, just maybe from here, but knows Spanish and sees you and says, do you want me to speak to you in Spanish? They start speaking to you in Spanish.
Yes. So
you find that to be like, oh, that's something you didn't get 30 years ago.
30 years ago, no.
Right.
30 years ago, I had to learn English and able to have a better communication.
Yeah.
You have to speak English if you was in Tennessee, because Tennessee is just different. This is not LA or Miami. You just got to Miami and you don't have to speak English.
Right.
You feel weird to speak English, but Tennessee is different. Tennessee, you have to speak English.
Well, so talk to me about the process of deciding that you're in Shelbyville. You're already grown. You moved here when you're 18, but you decide to move to Nashville and say bye to mom. Her only son. What was that process like? How did you decide to kind of move to the city?
It was difficult. But I have to say that it was one of the best things that I ever did, because I know that I want something different for myself. And I know that I was not going to get in Shelbyville, Mm-hmm. I do love Shelbyville. I like to go to see my mom and stay there. But, by the end of the day, I feel that it was not enough for me.
Yeah. Can you talk to me about, certainly in this moment, it's almost impossible to avoid the issue that, we've had this crackdown on people who are in the country without documentation here illegally. And I just wonder, have you noticed changes in your shop? Is there a kind of, is there something in the air that's different?
They do sometimes, the people is just really afraid to just go out or enjoy the time, mm-hmm. or enjoy the moment. And it's kind of difficult because I don't want that for the community, And it's more hard in the Hispanic businesses, and I'm really encouraged to people to just go to the small businesses to support, because there's many times that I see many people that has no clients.
No clients because people are staying home?
People stay home.
Really?
Yes. yes. I think when it all begins, couple months ago, it was really, it was really hard and shocking for everybody because
You felt it in your shop, you're saying?
a little bit, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
I do have to say that Osmin is more English speaker.
Yeah.
And he's more American, a little bit American and Hispanic.
Yes, your partner, Oz.
So basically, when we started the business, we really did something that most people don't do, which is approach more Americans.
Yeah.
Than usual, because I know the Hispanic eventually there was gonna come, you know, and then I'm basically our sales are being good because we do have a lot of Americans. They love the coffee, and we try to make the coffee better, nicer, and welcoming, and we buy everything that we buy in the store is local. We support other small companies, which is very important for us.
Even the pastries that you all sell.
Yes. The pastries we make in the store, the big conchas, I don't have a room for them.
Okay. Well, because you had mentioned that the conchas, which are enormous, I mean, they're the size of like a plate.
They make it special for us because
but the other pastries you handle.
Yes.
Last thing, has this year and the legal enforcement that we've seen here and kind of the tone, the mood at the moment, has it changed your view of Nashville in any way?
No, not really. Not really. I feel they don't change my... I have to tell you something. I'm not very a political person. I do have family that is very, very into the politics. I'm not. But I have to say, they do... my experience is that they do change people. People is more concerned about many things right now, and they're really scared. And it's hard to see that, you know, because they don't want to go outside. They don't want to do things that they normally do. People, I mean, I was in Florida months ago, and it was shocking for me because it was no Hispanic people there.
People were staying home.
It was no I was in the beach. It was maybe two more families. And it was, I usually go and just see a bunch of Latinos people. No, it was no people there. Yeah. It was a little bit shocking, yes.
Well, Joss 15 is bringing people life, whether it's through a big cup of coffee or an oversized concha bread. So Juan Pablo, owner of Joss 15 in Antioch, we hope that you'll come back.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
We need to take our first break. When we come back, we'll get to know a community health worker and hear a bit more about how this current moment has challenged her work and the health of her clients. So stay with us. Esto es Nashville.
Funding for This Is Nashville comes from you, our listeners, and Music City Prep Clinic, Nashville-based provider for PrEP and offering comprehensive sexual health services in an environment designed to be safe, professional, and shame-free. Learn more at musiccityprep.org.
I'm Blake Farmer, and this is Nashville. Three personal stories today, all tied together with Hispanic heritage. We started the hour with, I'm going to call it a pick-me-up, but the truth is this is a difficult moment in the Latino community. Enforcement of immigration laws on the streets of Middle Tennessee puts people on edge because everyone knows someone whose journey to legal status perhaps stalled out at some point. Rosa Escobar is a community health worker for Salome Health. Welcome to This Is Nashville.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, it's one thing to invite. It's another thing to say yes. So, Rosa, thank you.
Right. Thanks. Glad to be here.
So, Salome is a charitable clinic. You've got a clinic in Melrose and one in Antioch. And we may just start out with this, though this is not just the focus of what we're going to talk about here. But how has the current climate of immigration enforcement changed your work?
Yes. So, Salome is a faith-based nonprofit organization that, we serve the no-insurance patients. 90% of our patients are immigrants and refugees.
90%?
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So,
and is it a sliding scale that people pay? Is that how it works?
yeah, so we had 2 primary clinic. The Melrose is a slide scale clinic, but the Enya is just a walk-in clinic that is just one payment. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so so we got 2.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what inspired you to be a community health worker?
I think the life, to be a immigrant, and I just want to do something for the community. Because I went through hard things here in life, and I want to be there for someone, to be a voice to somebody that doesn't have a voice in the community. Yeah.
Did someone offer you that kind of support when you were first in Nashville?
No, that was what inspired me to I wish I would have had somebody to walk me through, to navigate all this healthcare system, just the social system, just to tell me what is to be living here. Yeah.
Which sounds like a whole lot more than like a health worker. It sounds like you support them in many other ways, like almost like a social worker.
Right. Yeah. So a little bit of everything. We not only do navigate the health system, we help with emotional, educate our patients, connect them with resources that they might need, and just be a listening ear to those patients that, there are a lot of patients here by themselves. I'm here. I'm a single mother with my 2 daughters, all my family back home. And then, we always need that community or somewhere we can talk, how we feel, how was our day, just somebody to listen how our emotions is. Yeah.
And when you say your family back home, do you mean not here in Nashville, somewhere else?
Correct. Yes.
Where are they?
I am from Mexico, and they're all back over there. I'm here. Yeah.
Well, what were your early days like in Nashville?
So I was 15, almost 16 years old when my mom decided to bring me here to, just to have a better opportunity of life. She spent 5 years living here before went back to Mexico. And I was just excited to I'm gonna be with my mom and gonna, go to the new country. But it was tough. It was because I was, navigating to be a teenager.
Wait, you came when you were 15?
Yes, correct. Mm-hmm.
And she had been here 5 years, came back and got you, and then you
correct.
I see.
Yes.
So you had lived without her for a while.
And then, she also is a single mom, and she was just working a lot. So it was a tough time. Come here, learn the culture, the language. I was a teenager age. And my first year was living in Knoxville, and the school was only 5 people speak Spanish there. So it was hard, but there was a lot of students that they were trying to teach me English, But also I was a little sad because I thought I was going to spend more time with my mom. And she had to work the whole time, work. And I was like, wow, I don't think it's going to be like this, so.
Wow, so you're thinking that you're coming, and after several years not seeing your mom much, you thought you'd get to spend time with her, but turns out she's got to work all the time because it's expensive to live here.
Right, yeah.
Wow.
So it was definitely not expected, but just grateful for her hard work. Because now I have opportunity to, help my community too and be a community health worker.
But I guess she decided to go back home.
Yes. So 16 years back, she just decided to go back because I have another brother. And so she's just missing home, go back there and just want to see the family. And, I was doing my life here, got married and got 2 kids. And, she's like, okay, I think you're doing great.
Wow.
You can do this.
Yeah.
So,
If you're just tuning in, this is Nashville. I'm your host, Blake Farmer. Our guest is Rosa Escobar, a community health worker at Salome Health. And we're talking about her work in her community. I've seen you describe your patients as seeing you as a trust member. Can you kind of share what maybe about a time that trust kind of made the difference in helping someone, get connected in this community?
Yeah, especially on this time, my job has been very hard, but very meaningful for a lot of patients. Like I said, there's a lot of patients that are here by themselves. They just come here, work, so they can, support the family back home. So I got patients who go to the clinic and then her main focus maybe is just losing weight, but in reality, she had a lot of anxiety, and then this was the root cause of her obesity. And, they don't have a lot of time to talk with the providers because, it's a limited time. But that's when we come, and we have more time. We can work one-on-one. We can do home visits, just go in there and walks, just trying to encourage and making better choices for the health. So.
Wait, are you saying you go on walks with some of your patients?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Last Monday, actually, it was one of my patients' birthday, and we just went for lunch. So, she is dealing with mental health, and this is a great, opportunity. We just think outside the box, so make them feel more welcoming and, trust person. Mm.
Well, you've talked about the stigma around mental health in the Hispanic community. I mean, I guess there's probably stigma all around, but in the Hispanic community in particular. So how do you start those conversations with patients who might not feel comfortable talking about mental health, whatever that means to them?
Right. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of stigma back home. You don't really talk about mental health and depression, anxiety. But here, I think they have the opportunity to share that because they're not back home and there's nobody to tell them, no, you don't talk about your mental health, right? But I think I went to same things that patients went going through. And I think that what is connect us, we have same backgrounds and same similar situations that we're going through. And I just connect, my personal life with them. And that's how I get trust with them, because I'm from the same community, and they know okay, she's from the same community, she speaks my language and, I can trust her. Mm-hmm.
Well, you've talked about people being alone. And that's interesting because I think of Hispanic communities being very familial. A lot of, even people who have moved here to Nashville or other parts of the U.S. kind of having big families and connections. Mm-hmm. But you're saying a lot of people you work with are sort of alone and just sort of sending money back home kind of things. So do you almost have to play the role of a family member to say, you need to get this checked out or you need to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yes. I become the friend and the family member they want to, because I know how to feel. I'm here by myself, my two daughters, and then I know what is that feel. But that's my job, to connect them to more community, to churches, give it education. And yeah, they know they're not here by themselves because there are a lot of organizations that help the Hispanic community. And I see their resilience, and especially right in the hard times right now, I can see that. Mm-hmm.
Have you seen any changes in how the community views mental health since the pandemic?
Wow, yeah, the pandemic was a huge open eyes, I think, for the community. And I think Hispanic community are very warming and family oriented, and they always come together when people need it. And I feel that, they see the need that they had to open up more because it was actually mental health also increased the physical health, more blood pressure, diabetes. So they know they have to talk about this because it's hurting their physical health.
Yeah. You mentioned that despite challenges, your patients and the community has shown a lot of resilience. I wonder if you could give me an example of some of the resilience you've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I say, we all come together. We just look the strain on our heart. And then my patient, her father lost her job and her mother's about to lose her job too. And then she got 3 kids. So she's like, hey, I need to be there for my father and my mom because they help me too. So I can do any other job or, just... And I'm trying to connect them with some resources that maybe food, right? Maybe that can help her. So she's doing that for her family. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you feeling like there are more discussions about going home? Do we really want to stay here?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of discussion, but, people are really making their family here. They have kids here, and choosing between go home and take away the opportunity for the kids, just to go back there. It is a hard decision.
Yeah.
It is a tough decision. One of my patients, they just decided to go back there, and they left their 19-year-old daughter here.
Because she's American.
Exactly. She never lived there before. So it is a tough decision. But if they don't have like a job or any opportunity here anymore, they just, let's go back home. But it's a tough decision.
How do you balance that? We've been sort of focused on some of the struggle, whether that's health challenges or legal challenges. But how do you balance those struggles with the richness and celebrating the joy, like Juan Pablo brings people with his gigantic cups of coffee or something, but the richness of Hispanic culture in this moment?
Mm-hmm. I think especially in this month, the Hispanic Heritage Month, we celebrate, everything that we get to this country. We have been helping the economy, the culture enrichment. And then I think this is a great way to show who we are, where we come from, remember our cultures, and that we're very, a community that we want to share that to others and show that who we are. We're here to help. We are not here to divide people. We're just here, we want to improve the country too, where we live, because they have given us a lot of opportunities. So we want to show them who we really are, know.
Well, I know that you organized the Hispanic Heritage Month celebrations at Salome.
Yes.
So why do you think it's important, to celebrate this year?
Yeah, especially this year, it's been really hard. I know people, they don't want to celebrate, but like I say, just to remember who we are, where we come from, and then, give grace to those people who get a lot to this community. A lot to like right now, it's happening at one of our clinic. It's happening right now. They're celebrating. They're having the lunch. They're having
Wait,
games.
you're missing a lunch right now?
I'm missing a lunch right now, guys. But
tell me you planned a lunch that you're missing? Is this what's happening right now?
Yeah, but we're having one more tomorrow.
Rosa.
I know, but I'm grateful to be here to, speak for my community.
All right,
but
well,
we're having one more tomorrow. So,
okay, well, I assume that Rosa's colleagues are listening. I hope. While they're eating lunch, please savor some leftovers at least. And what are they having?
All the different country for Hispanic,
Well, that's what I wonder.
We got enchiladas, you got tinga, we got a couple of desserts. A little bit of everything, guys.
All right, well, save some for last thing. You've described your work as kind of caring for the whole person, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, you sound a whole lot more like a social worker than just sort of a community health worker, but physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. I know that it's your job, but what role does your faith also play in the work that you do?
Oh, yeah. My faith has increased since I started working at Salon. That was 2022. I was just a volunteer there, and I saw that every morning we start with a prayer, and this just shocked me. My heart was happy. I called my mom, and I was like, I want to work here. I want to work in a place like this where you feel like family, where you feel not just a coworker, and then that's my faith. It has grown so much. The Lord has given me so many opportunities to help my community, and so I pray with patients when, they allow me to.
Wow.
Yeah, we have, a pastor at the clinic, and then, I just, God is my rock. He's, everything for me now. Mm-hmm.
Rosa Escobar is a community health worker at Salome Health. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take one last break. When we come back, we'll be joined by a business leader who's been informing and connecting the Hispanic community in Middle Tennessee for 2 decades. Yuri Kunza when we return. Stay with us. Esto es Nashville.
Funding for This Is Nashville comes from you, our listeners, and Music City Prep Clinic, Nashville-based provider for PrEP and offering comprehensive sexual health services in an environment designed to be safe, professional, and shame-free. Learn more at musiccityprep.org.
I'm Blake Farmer, and this is Nashville. Today, 3 stories, all unified by Hispanic heritage. While Middle Tennessee's Latino population is growing, making our region much more diverse, this population is itself quite diverse. Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras. I've met quite a few people from Venezuela who relocated here in recent years. Yuri Kunza came to Nashville in the 1990s. He's led the Nashville Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for 15 years. He still runs La Noticia Spanish language newspaper, and I've known him at least since he became a U.S. citizen in 2006. Welcome to This Is Nashville, Yuri Kunza.
Thank you so much.
You know, I was reading in our notes from producer Josh Deepan that you took your oath of citizenship at the Hermitage in 2006, as in Andrew Jackson, the Hermitage. And I was thinking, I remember going to a citizenship ceremony early in my reporting days in Nashville, and then I Googled around and saw that not only was I at the same ceremony, I interviewed you there.
You did.
What's odd is I don't remember if I knew who you were at the time, because I don't think you weren't yet CEO of the Nashville Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, right?
Actually, I was, because I was at a conference. Actually, I was chairman of the board at that time.
Ah, okay. You were on the board.
I was at a conference in Milwaukee that I took a delegation. I think it was about 10 business leaders. And I flew back just to do my citizenship ceremony in 2006.
I remember it being a moving ceremony, and 2006 was a time there's a lot of immigration discussion at the time, and that's what we were, looking back at the interview, that's what we were talking about is the difficulty of people finding a route, especially from Latin America into the citizenship. What's changed since then? Has it become any easier?
Well, easier in what regard?
Yeah.
It's a community that has been growing, of course, that is expected. It's been moved or triggered by the availability of job opportunities or the need for a workforce. I think that's one of the things that had to be clear. Why is it that populations migrate to different parts of the country, in this case to Tennessee, when Tennessee is growing and the city, as you can see, construction works, hospitality, and other industries are in need of a workforce. And I think historically, Hispanics have been a very important segment of that or component to that.
Yeah. So you traveled back from Milwaukee just for that ceremony, which obviously a big deal ceremony. What was that day like?
Well, I wanted to make sure I was on time, that there was today, I think back then I wasn't thinking that there may be the delays that are currently occurring when you travel by airplane. And now, like today, the news that perhaps some of the jobs related to the industry are going to be at least put on pause, perhaps maybe terminated. That's concerning. So it's about how our economy has changed. Like that's another question from 20 years ago to today.
Yeah, no, it's changed. Well, while I've known you for a long, long time, and you obviously have represented kind of the Hispanic business community for so long now, I wonder though, when did Nashville start to feel like home for you?
Well, it's been 33 years about for me. That is more than half of my life. And so I have spent more than half of my life in Nashville. So this is home to me.
Are you surprised by that? Like, did you ever think this was a pit stop rather than, a place you were going to call home?
I wanted to go to California. I was my background in multimedia, particularly in film, TV. I wanted to be there because that's where you're supposed to be for that. But then I had relatives here, and then at some point when I met you is when the importance of this Hispanic community was what brought me into this advocacy and business support system. I think that I belong today.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it would have been otherwise, but I love that I know so many friends, and we can remember each other.
Yeah, well, yes, we've now been old friends, not just friends. If you're just joining us, I'm Blake Farmer. This is Nashville. We're closing out our hour with one of the most prominent leaders in Nashville's Hispanic community, Yuri Cunza. And if you'd like to join us, we're streaming on YouTube at youtube.com/@WPLN. You're from Lima, Peru originally, and I think went to school then in Argentina, then come here. And you talked about how people just assumed you maybe were Mexican. I wonder, how did that experience of kind of cultural misperceptions change some of it, or shape maybe your perspective and the advocacy work that you do?
So back then, of course, you just don't know what it means, but people greeting me in Spanish with an hola, which I think that's the farthest they went, or calling me amigo without really knowing me much. Later I learned, of course, that Cinco de Mayo, when people used to greet me on that particular day, had to do with Mexico. To me, in the beginning,
not something you celebrate in Peru.
Exactly, no idea, because the history to that, or the significance, really. And I did not like that much in the beginning, but later I understood, so I thought, and then when I get brought into advocacy, I thought, well, people are maybe thinking that I'm Mexican or expecting of me to know about Mexico. So I need to be responsible. So I start traveling and learning more and move closer to the community where there is more predominant individuals from Mexico and Central America, just to learn. And then the newspaper also helped, because that way I need to know what was happening and sharing information. And so it's been a journey, and I enjoyed it. I encourage people that do not know to get to know a little better their neighbors, because you have a wealth of the richness in your own community that I think it's overlooked sometimes, or perhaps it's disregarded. But I think there is a lot of value to that. You can basically travel the world without going anywhere here in Nashville.
I like the sound of that. So, the Hispanic Chamber had only been around maybe a few years when you got involved, or maybe you were involved from the beginning, just not. It was already going, right, when you started?
It was already in existence, and I was invited to be part of it as a board member. I didn't think of myself as a business person. I was in the arts and our creation and creative field, but then somehow I got into that, and I accepted. Back then, around 2003 or 2004, then next thing I knew, I was elected the chair of the board, and then I put a lot of my energy in there. I think in the beginning, when I was just a board member, I wanted to listen and learn, and then maybe contribute with my maybe graphic design skills to their newsletter or something like that. But then later, it became a voice, and it's important to be at the table. To me, it's important to be there when you are invited. So it's an opportunity you should not miss. So if that's a privilege I think I had, that I got an invitation to be here and there, and I try not to miss it, because I knew it may not be another time. So like Rosa, I today had a scheduled a presentation at a university locally.
Really?
But we got to reschedule. I think it's going to work out better. But I thought the city of Nashville needs to know what you had to share today, because Esto is Nashville.
Wow, you're saying better than me. My wife was very concerned about me saying any words in Spanish today, so I'm going to leave it at that. But you're making this point that, like, when you're invited to sit at the table, even if it's our table here at This Is Nashville, that you sort of feel like you almost have this obligation because you represent other people. When did you start to realize that you're not just trying to find your own way and start a business and do your thing, but you represent others?
Yeah, what actually triggered me to consider this was the realization that the perception of the Hispanic community in Nashville back then, even back in 1992, I got involved more in 1996, 7, around that time. But it wasn't what it was my understanding of what the Hispanic community is. At least my understanding of what the Mexican community is, because I grew up with television, movies, productions that came primarily from Mexico that were outstanding. And it's really the leader in the planet for Spanish language content. But here, the perception was different. And when I saw and I noticed that the community that was here from Mexico and other parts were not thought of in the right way, there were a lot of stereotypes and a lot of misconceptions. So I thought, this might be an opportunity to share another angle, or maybe a broader context to people that do not know. So it led to conversations and amazing times and friendships, and I hope didn't cause any hostility, because I believe in the power of dialogue. I believe in that opportunity to come together, but also with all of the immigration situations going on, enforcement, it's also a time to realize it may be time for our Hispanic community to help contribute and get the things in order. Otherwise, it may be devastating.
How do you navigate politics? Because you need to be able to work with the Republican-led state and the city that's led primarily by Democrats. Like, do those politics create challenges for you? Do you have to kind of make sure you stay somewhere near the center?
Yeah, being the oldest, longest running Hispanic organizations, a membership, a business, a network, our job is to work with elected officials.
Whoever they are.
At this point, there are two parties, maybe more, but whatever, in case it changes, it wouldn't affect the way we do things. I can say that I feel that it's great that if a elected official hears from us, I think they're welcoming. I have seen that at the federal level as well as the state level with our elected governor, mayor, other individuals that work and serve the community, which is our community.
Well, and you all were invited to the White House, I think, for a briefing. What was that experience like?
Yeah, I'm a board member at the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which is the National Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, representing the interests of over 260 chambers of commerce around the country, plus probably 5 or 6 million Hispanic-owned businesses now. And we were one of the first groups that was invited, if not the first one, right, during our legislative summit in the first quarter of the year. I also serve as chair of the Government Affairs Committee for that organization. And so it was great to be there, because there was a lot of questions given the proclamations or the resolutions.
You're talking about this year.
Yes.
Then the Trump administration.
So the resolutions that were signed by President Trump in January, right, assumed the same day that we were there also. We were just keeping a close eye on what's going to happen. But I know they have goals, and I know that it's hard to hear, but it's important to know straightforward what their intention, what government's intention is. So we heard that, and we heard that border security was a priority, immigration was important, but we also brought up to them the need for a reasonable way to address the issue of immigration that is impacting families when one family has individuals in different legal status. No one is asking to bend the rules, not to follow the law, but I understand there are efforts that will lead to options to those who are in the hospitality industry, food service, agriculture, and others, because it is undeniable that our community, the Hispanic community, is important component of America's workforce. So we want it to be protected, of course, because that's important for the health and well-being of our economy.
Hey, are you saying you've seen what seems like evidence that the Trump administration will be working on a path like that?
I am confident that we need to attend. If we have a responsible government that cares about everybody, I think there are some things to be put in order. I guess this is the come to Jesus moment for everyone, also for our Hispanic community. There will be those who unfortunately will have no options or immigration relief, but there will be others that perhaps if they did not attend to it, they will have to do it or make the hard decision of either stay or leave.
A come to Jesus moment. Yuri Kunze, let me leave you with this. Have you seen Nashville kind of rallying behind the Hispanic-owned businesses that you represent?
Well, I think it's important to know that we have Hispanic businesses in our community, and those are vital and important, and we're proud to have many members, hundreds of members, and we're here to stay.
Yuri Kunze, an entrepreneur and president of the Nashville Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in this hour. This is Nashville is a production of Nashville Public Radio. If you miss an episode, you can always go back and listen on demand in our podcast feed or at thisisnashville.org. We had another installment of our In My Place series yesterday, talking about the unexpected challenges when someone goes from unhoused to housed. Monday's interview with Fred Bailey is one that should not be missed. Got a lot of texts about that one. As a man who has succeeded despite his blindness and growing up in poverty in Sumner County, has some harsh words about laziness. Be careful. And tomorrow we've got our roundabout panel on helping us think about the news of the week, and we'll take your calls. Today's episode produced by Josh Deepen, directed by Tasha A.F. Limley. Our board operator is Liv Lombardi. The masterminds behind that theme music are LaRange and Namir Blade. You can always leave us a message if you want to tell us what you want to hear on the show or talk to us about anything. 615-751-2500 is the number, or find us on the socials. This is Nashville. I'm Blake Farmer. Hasta mañana.